9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hello everyone! Welcome back to your favorite talk show where we discuss online dating in all its glory. The good, the bad, the ups, the downs. With special guests coming on later, we've got a great show for you today. My name is Kayla Ness and I will be your host this evening. And you're watching Love at First Swipe. Online dating is something that we're all a bit familiar with. Whether you've been an avid user yourself or your roommate's been doing well on them by all the noises you hear coming from their bed. What? What do you mean that's not PG? My bad. Anyway, moving on. Dating in today's generation is hard enough as is with the lack of general communication, despite everyone always being on their phone. Everything is way too expensive than it should be. And honestly, just the fact that human interaction is, well, scary. Now, you put all of that in an online format, recipe for disaster. Or not. Well, it depends on who you ask. For myself, I've been on a slew of dates, and so far, no complaints. Now, I've had my fair share of guys who just simply ended up being duds, but that's not their fault. The connection just wasn't there. However, I've also heard my fair share of horror stories from others on all the terrible, terrible dates that they have been on, stemming from one of the many online dating apps. On that note, joining us on the show today with a horror story of her own is Georgia Vukovic. Joining us on the show today.
Happy to be here. So excited to share.
Oh, can't wait. So, I've heard that you have a horror story of your own.
Do I ever?
Oh, please share.
Okay, so I matched with this guy on Hinge.
Okay.
Starting off, he was about 26, so just a little bit older. I'm only 20.
Okay. Still in a range though. We're good.
Still okay. Yeah. He's a vet. I was like, okay,
Ooh.
like this is exciting.
Green
He
flag.
seemed really interested to meet me that weekend. So we talked for a couple days, and then he's like, all right, Friday night, we're going out for dinner. Like, I'm so flattered. Like, he's interested in me. We go out to dinner. He says 6:30. I do my best to be on time. I'm not a very punctual person, but I'm doing my best.
Okay.
I'm calling him just before I get there. I'm like, hey, I'm going to be 10 minutes late. He seems really stressed out. I'm like, no, I'll be there soon. I'm just like 10 minutes late. And he goes, oh, hey. I get there. We sit down. I apologize for being late. It's okay. He calms down. And then I sit down and we're in a booth.
Okay.
We're out chatting for like 10 minutes. And then he goes, oh, come over to my side of the booth.
Okay.
And I'm
gotcha.
like,
same side.
Yeah. So I go over. I'm a little bit hesitant. I don't know this man.
Okay.
But I'm like, okay, like it's friendly, I guess.
Could be cute. Could be cute. Yeah.
And then a few minutes later, he gets a phone call, and I can sort of hear it because he's so close to me now. A man saying, hey, I'm running 5 minutes late. I'll be there soon. I'm like, oh my gosh.
What?
I signed up for this one-person date. Like, who else is coming?
Oh my goodness.
I have to press him a little bit to get an answer. And he goes, oh, I told my high school bully that I was like in a long-term relationship, and so I've brought you here to pretend to be my girlfriend of 4 years. Can you please pretend that for me? And
what?
I'm like, sorry? Like, why would I possibly want to do that? I don't know you.
So did you?
After a little bit of convincing, mid-conversation, these people walk into the door. I'm like, I have to. Like, I can't leave this man in this position.
So how did it like wrap up? Did he believe it? Did the bully?
He actually did. To be fair, they were very up themselves. They did most of the talking.
Okay.
But all of a sudden, me and this boy, we had a house in Coburg together. We'd been traveling in Europe. Like, we'd had this whole extensive life together.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah, it was actually kind of really fun to play make-believe a bit.
So did you ever see this man again?
I actually went on 2 more dates with him.
Oh my God.
It might have been the cocktails talking for me. I'm not sure, but
fair.
It was kind of fun, but also kind of awful. Why did he lie like that?
That's so weird. Fair enough. Definitely a bit of a horror story.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, that is all the time we have today, but yes, that was so good. I'll have to hear more if you have any. Here's to better dates in your future.
Please, I know. Would love that.
We have an interview with an online dating coach who is here to give us the inside scoop on what we might be overseeing when it comes to navigating this tricky part of life. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this video of a terrible first date, which was sent in by an audience member. Roll the tape.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this date.
Hey, I'm Bob. Are you Kai?
Yeah, who? What's your name again?
Bob?
This Bob?
Yeah, it's me after a workout.
Oh.
So, you want to get... That was loud. You want to get a steak?
I'm a raw vegan. I only eat uncooked vegetables.
So, you got any kids?
No, not yet. I'm hoping for at least 12 in the future. I'm trying to start a football team.
Oh.
You know, after some thought, even though you don't look at your photo, I think I love you.
Oh, wow. I've heard of some bad dates, but I think that one takes the cake. Now, as promised, next on the show, we have another very special guest. Please give a warm welcome to online dating coach, Gabe Hartshorn. Thank you so much for joining us, Gabe.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, our pleasure. So, online dating coach, that's probably the only profession that's come up in the last, couple years. So, what did you go through to get to this point?
Well, I did a 12-year course over in Barcelona. I met some of the leading experts on dating apps, and I'd say I'm quite knowledgeable on the subject.
Yeah, I would agree for a 12-year program. Wow, that's very intensive. So what does a day-to-day basis look like for you? Do you have appointments? Are you doing it online based? Are you seeing these clients in person? What does that look like for you?
Well, I don't actually have any practice. I don't really put it into usage, but from the knowledge that I have, I essentially meet women online and use them for their money.
Okay, so a little bit of a turnaround there, I guess. So in this school, is that kind of something that they taught you? Yeah,
I mean, it's not really an official course. It's just me and my buds, really. But
right.
Yeah, we made some adjustments to what we thought was the real way that we should use dating apps.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your input. That's really enlightening. And thanks for joining us on the show today. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this segment. But you'll have to tell me a little bit more. Maybe I can switch it around. You have my phone number somewhere?
No.
Okay, it's 049. We'll do that later, no worries. Stay tuned, because next week we'll have 2 more very special guests with some stories that will have you swooning in your seats. This has been Love at First Swipe. I'm your host, Kaylin S., and you've been an amazing audience. Have a great evening, everyone.
15.
Hello everyone and welcome to Choo Construction Chaos. We all know the hassle of getting to Tullamarine and back. Backed into choosing between the Sky Bus or the expansive taxis and Ubers, profiteering off the situation. Today, we're going to be delving into the state of Melbourne's public transport, including all its current and inconvenient projects, as well as the falsely promised and seemingly fancy airport line. We have two special guests joining us today, Liam and Daniel, who will be sharing their opinions on the state of PTV and the metro system. But first, here's a little bit of background on the situation.
Turmoil as works on the new metro tunnel take over the RMIT City campus. With plans to bring a new train stop to the Melbourne Library, construction interrupts and upsets university attendees.
Very distressing. They disrupt my day-to-day at work. It's harder to focus. It's disruptive for meetings. It would be very handy to have a rail line that goes directly from the city to the airport. The fact that we don't have one is ridiculous. Deeply unhappy that my taxpayer money has been going toward this project.
With no rail line and little information about the metro line, who knows what's really happening in all of these works.
Welcome back to Choo Choo. As you've seen, the construction is plaguing us all. In further developments, the line is reported to not be completed until 2033 at the earliest, costing an estimated $67 million in worker redeployment. With the government's original promises of trains from the airport to the CBD every 10 minutes looking more and more than a fairy tale, we're here to get some outside opinions. We have some guests with us here today to talk about the issue. Liam, thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for having me.
So you live in the Macedon Ranges, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably really difficult getting public transport in and out of where you want to go?
Yeah, I'm very reliant on the V line. That's, from my station, basically straight to the city.
Yeah.
If I need to go to a stop that's in between there, I have to drive or catch the train to Sunbury, and then I can get to a metro line, and sometimes that line isn't actually running.
Yeah, so then what is it like when there's like construction works going on? Is it even more of a hassle?
There's like always construction work going on this line, to the point, like, I don't know what they've actually changed about it. They're always working on it. It's just a bit of there's signage everywhere saying when there's going to be construction, but there's always is construction, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's a bit of...
Yeah, thanks, Liam. Daniel, if there was an airport rail line, would you see yourself using it?
Oh, maybe. Definitely if I was going overseas.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But, obviously I'm going to save up some money first, and as far as I can tell, the delays are never ending, so maybe one day.
Yeah. All right, final question. Would each of you like to say something to the government in charge of the airport rail lines? Are you just as fed up and disgruntled as the rest of Melbourne?
You know my opinions on this, and I told you not to ask me this question, okay?
Really
sorry, I can't do this.
Yeah, sorry, Liam. Daniel, did you want to chime in?
It's shit.
Yeah.
Yep, that's all I've got to say about it.
Yeah. All right.
Yep, no other comments.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
All right. Thank you, and Liam and Daniel, for coming on with us today. This is Choo Choo Chaos. That's all we have time for.
3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, you travelling fiends, and welcome back to another episode of Backpacking Budgets. Tonight, we're talking about budget travelling, which is perfect timing since it's the end of the month and my bank account is starting to look a lot like my childhood YouTube account. Lots of hope, not too much profit. I'm Sammy, your host, and I'm super excited to get into it today. Now, I love budget travelling. Nothing says, yeah, I'm adventurous, quite like trying to sleep on an airport bench while clutching your backpack like it's the last donut at a Weight Watchers meeting. You know how it goes. Those magical moments of savaging the internet at 2 in the morning for flight deals, only to end up with a flight that has a 17-hour layover in an airport with more cows than planes. But seriously, budget travelling is an art form. It's like being a modern-day Indiana Jones, except instead of hunting for the Ark of the Covenant, you're hunting for the cheapest hostel that doesn't have bed bugs included as a selling point. And let's not forget those charmingly frugal meals where nothing says local cuisine like buying a questionable sandwich from a street vendor and praying it won't come with a complimentary food poisoning experience. And, of course, there's the packing. When you're budget travelling, your suitcase becomes a cross between Mary Poppins' bag and a clown car. You're shoving in everything you own, playing Tetris with your socks, jocks and your tops just to rock up at the airport wearing 5 layers of clothes because you refuse to pay for that extra weight. One time, I saw a guy passing security wearing so many layers, I thought it was the Michelin Man. Of course, the real magic of budget travelling is in the stories you collect. Like that time you stayed in a hostel that turned out to be built on a graveyard. But what's a couple ghosts, still a good time? Or when you realise it's a little too late that the all-inclusive restaurant actually means including all the things no one would ever want. But at the end of the day, budget travelling teaches you one valuable lesson. It's not about how much money you spend, but the experiences you gain. Whether it's making new friends over a shared bathroom or discovering hidden gems because you got extremely lost, these are the memories that stick with you. So whether you're running towards a new chapter or running away from some deep-seated demons, here's to you. The frugal adventurers, the penny-pinching explorers, and the brave souls who know that the best stories don't come from 5-star hotels, but from the heart and a little bit of ingenuity. Now grab your criminally outdated passport and let's see just how far a dollar can take you. Have you done much traveling?
Yeah. I mean, I do some short traveling. Like I go in Malta, England, Ireland, and Spain.
Basically, the Eastern Seaboard, a lot of outback stuff, that sort of thing. And then internationally, a lot of Southeast Asia. I went to Greece last year.
Went to Japan once, 10 years ago now. Bali once or twice. And last year I went to Europe, so Italy and Greece. My favorite travel for the moment it was England because itself it was really, really crazy. I mean, I just made so many friends.
Now please welcome our next guest, Sophia. Hi Sophia, thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Tell us a little bit about your traveling experience.
So I grew up moving around a lot. I was born in New York, but then I lived in Switzerland, Peru, Paraguay, Croatia, France, and now I'm here for a semester.
Just for a semester you're here? Yeah. And out of all these places that you've been to, tell me, if you're on a tight budget, where would you recommend that I go?
South America, I think, would definitely be the best.
Yeah.
Don't know if I'd recommend Paraguay so much for visiting.
Why is that?
Not much to do, but great place to live.
Yeah.
Peru, however, if you're just there for a couple months, I think that you can definitely stretch your budget as much as possible, and there's a lot to do.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the place with the most diverse places to see. I mean, you have the Amazon, you have Machu Picchu, you have the desert, the Nazca Lines.
So a lot of these experiences like the Amazon, these are places that you can go to for free. You don't have to specifically spend a whole bunch of money to...
You really don't need to. I mean, obviously, there's a bunch of tours and stuff that you can take if you want to spend more money, if you have it. But if not, I mean, the Amazon, I definitely wouldn't go alone.
Yeah.
But if you have people to go with, I think it's a great place, and there's a lot to do with a lot of diverse animals and sights to see.
Yeah. And where's been your favorite place out of all of these places you've been?
I think my favorite place to travel to has been Patagonia.
Yeah.
That one was really cool. Again, I don't think you need a large budget. I mean, rented a shitty car on the coast.
With saying that, like a bad car, you're getting a more authentic experience.
You really are, especially when it's manual and everything's hills.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun to explore. But I mean, you have the mini penguins, you have beautiful 4-hour hikes that lead you to the most amazing place ever. And again, you don't need a big budget to do Patagonia.
Amazing.
Honestly.
Well, thank you, Sophia, for your time. I'm sure you saved us a lot of grey hairs. Enjoy the rest of your time here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now welcome our next guest, James.
Hey man, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not bad.
So tell us a little bit about your travelling experience.
Yeah, so like I was traveling around Europe, like backpacking for 3 months on like relatively tight budget as like a 19-year-old. And yeah, hostels were kind of like the go-to option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any crazy hostel experiences?
Oh yeah, there's a few. Like there was one in London. Like I definitely wouldn't recommend like hostels in London because it's like very expensive. So the budget hostel that you get is like still quite expensive, but what you get for what you pay for is just like it was above like this pub, and it would just be like metal music like till like 2 in the morning, like rats in the hostel, like, but they wouldn't change the sheets, like disgusting.
Really?
Bed bugs, awful.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure all of our listeners will stray away from the London hostels.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
And good to have you back in the country.
Thank you.
Well, there it is. That's our show for tonight. I hope you're feeling inspired to grab your backpack, dust off your old suitcase, and maybe even download one of those budget travel apps you've been ignoring for so long. Remember, the world's a big place and it doesn't have to cost a fortune to explore it. As you dig into your next adventure, whether it's a weekend getaway to the next town over or a month-long journey across the seas, keep in mind that the best experiences are often the ones that don't come with a price tag. It's not about the money you spend, but the memories you make, the people you meet, and the stories you'll tell for years to come. And speaking of stories, a big thank you to our guests tonight who shared their incredible travel tales and tips. You've given us all some serious wanderlust and maybe saved us a few grey hairs for our travels. Before we wrap up, a quick shout out to the team for making this show run, from the guys behind the cameras to the one working their magic in post. And to our audience, whether you're watching from the comfort of your couch or secretly streaming us at work before the weekend, thank you for tuning in. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you very much. Good night.
Hey there, thrifters, bargain hunters and vintage vultures. Welcome to Threads of Thrift. My name is Bonnie Carmichael. Today, we're taking you on a ride around Melbourne, navigating the fashion amidst the cost of living crisis like a pro, revealing insights into how op shops make a difference in our communities and how price increases may affect this. How has being broke influenced trends? What is a recession brunette? Who is behind it all? Do Depop resellers care about our livelihood? The answer is no. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be inspired by the wonderful world of Melbourne fashion. Let's get started. Before we interview our esteemed guests, we thought we might do a little investigating into op shop culture. Take a look. I'm here at a so-called opportunity shop and we're going to see if we can really find a cheap outfit. What does a uni outfit need? Pants, tops, accessories, jumper, let's get some. Found some jeans. Let's go try it again. Pants, $8. Parker, $8. Top, $5. Sunnies, $3. $2. Well, maybe you can style for cheap. Back to you guys in the studio. To dive deeper into these questions and explore the world of Melbourne fashion on a budget, we're bringing in some amazing guests who are experts in navigating style and self-expression during a cost of living crisis. Now let's give a warm welcome to Taylor Zelnilowski and Sasha Knowles. How's it going today, guys?
Good, all right.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
So, Taylor, you're a student who works in retail.
Yes.
And you're trend savvy on social media.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the term. Yeah, no, I do work retail. I've been, I guess, with my company for a couple of years now, since high school. And you definitely see, especially with the rapid cycling, I think, of fashion trends, you've seen a huge shift, just like in like the last 2-3 years. A lot has changed for sure. Yeah.
Totally. And have you noticed any trends in fashion while you've been there? Any things changing?
I think, listen, I'm obviously more accustomed with the guys sort of style. That's definitely my expertise. But I would say definitely proportions, I think, is the biggest change. I've had these jeans for like about 2 years now. They've lasted me a great time. They're fantastic. But they're probably the skinniest pair of jeans I own now. And I think you know, guys' fashion doesn't change too much, but the biggest thing is we're sort of looking at tees being smaller. You know, we had the really long tees sort of, you know, around 2015, mid 2010s, and now it's sort of about t-shirts are getting smaller and the jeans are bigger than ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, we heard that the company you work for makes you buy their stock as your uniform with only a 25% discount. What's your stance on this?
Well, a company is a company. One thing that I've sort of learned throughout working in retail, you know, we never, I guess, get fully told how much, you know, things are to cost and produce, and that's sort of a top secret thing, I guess, within these companies. But yeah, I guess it is just the way it is. You know, as much as great as working at a company can be, at the end of the day, companies and conglomerates and corporations are still going to behave that way. Yeah.
Totally. Well, thanks for your input. Really insightful. Now, Sasha Knowles, you're a student, a renter, a Depop reseller, fashionista, and op shop guru.
Whoa.
So we've got a couple questions for you. What platforms do you resell clothes on?
At the moment, I'm reselling on Depop only. I did move to the Instagram. I had the renting business at the time, but I just found that Depop was just the best way to do a full-time job and, you know, make little side money with stuff that I was going to get rid of either way. Was going to donate or, yeah, so kind of worked in favour, I guess, and it's really fun.
Totally. Now, how much do you increase the price on the clothes you sell?
Oh. Look, I started this whole Depop thing during COVID when there was not much to do, and I obviously was extremely bored, as probably everyone else was, and op shops were open, and at the time they were like $2 to $5 for a top, which is a great deal. and I was finding things that I would never be interested purchasing full price at any store, and then you got this great discount. But yeah, so I wouldn't exactly put up the price a lot until it got really popular. And when I say really popular, I mean, we've got a couple hundred followers, nothing crazy, but yeah, no, as we got more popular, sold more things, I think that's when we started increasing the price, but not to a crazy amount, because I use Depop all the time, and if I see something that I'm obsessed with and then see the price to be a couple $100s, I'm like, what the hell? Screenshot, send to the group chat, be like, what the hell is this? So yeah, I definitely wouldn't be that person. But yeah, I think it also comes with how popular the account is. Seeing these accounts that have thousands and thousands of followers, people feel that they will spend more. I guess that's with all brands, but yeah, so I don't have like a crazy scale on my stuff, because I wouldn't expect to want to pay that much myself.
Wow, fantastic. You seem like a really ethical reseller, and frankly, I'm impressed with your work.
Thank you so much.
Thanks guys for chatting with me today. Yeah, so we hope you've enjoyed dissecting with us the many efforts that Melburnians go through in order to express themselves, the constraints that they face on the way, and the ethicality of cultures that surround this. Thanks for watching Threads of Thrift, and see you next time.